terms can be confusing for the newcomers to the field. They can even be confusing to people that have experience in the field. Because of this, it's important to make sure there are no misunderstandings in what we communicate. The most frequently confused concepts are user experience design and user interface design. These two terms are often used interchangeably. UX, or user experience design, is more focused on the experience of the user, what they do, and how they interact with the interface. This aspect of the design process is done to polish the feel of the product. It requires more engaged in-person tests. UX aims to create intuitive and invisible guides for users as much as possible. It describes how a user of a service, product, or interface may feel when interacting with it at an emotional, subconscious, or conscious level. UI design, on the other hand, is more concerned with the design and layout of the interface, where on the screen buttons and icons are, an icon's different representations, and how different buttons on a controller interact with the program. This is the space where interactions between humans and machines occur. Fortunately, the design of mobile and console apps can offer valuable and detailed insight into the UI and UX dilemma. There are many aspects of UX and UI actively participating in all aspects of our lives invisibly. For example, consider a user who is driving a car and is asked about what they are doing at the moment. What would you expect them to say? I stopped at the stop sign and then turned left. Or, I gradually pressed the brake pedal until the car came to a stop. Then I will rotate the steering wheel to the left while pressing the gas pedal. The second option is literally what they are doing. However, we would not expect a driver who is immersed in the action to be aware of all the interfaces and how they interact with him. The driver will be aware of small aspects of the drive and will not think too much about what they are doing at every given moment. Similarly, with a VR painting app, you would like them to say, I used my brush to draw around the sphere, rather than, I pressed trigger on the controller to start drawing, moved my hand around the sphere to keep drawing a line, then let go of the trigger to stop drawing. Thinking about which button to press creates friction or high mental workload in enjoyment of the experience for users. Achieving a frictionless experience is key and requires careful consideration of every interaction in your application. This way, the user is less mentally taxed and can enjoy the experience instead of constantly worrying about the interface. To understand better the rest of the course, looking the jargon of usability may be a good point to stop by. A/B testing is a method to test two different versions of a content. To do this, you pick two groups of users. You expose Group A to the control version and Group B to the new version. Depending on the results, you can accept B as a better method, tweak B and try again, or reject B as a worse experience. Accessibility is the practice of making something usable by as many people as possible. Making a website navigable for users who can't see, creating subtitles with directional indicators for people who can't hear, not having flashing lights for epileptic people, or disabling spiders for people with arachnophobia are some solutions that need to be considered depending on the product. Affordance is a perceived signal or clue that an object may be used to perform a particular action, or that it may be interactable. Analytics measure human behavior on a site and gives insight into what is working and what is not. This can be used to understand whether a tutorial is holding the attention of the user and teaching them. It can also be used to understand which design elements are being ignored and may have to be changed. Effective attribute is about whether users can complete their goals with a high degree of accuracy. This can also help you understand which design elements are working as intended. Efficiency is about how fast the user can get the job done. If the efficiency of a job is low, this can indicate that there is an issue with its design. The engagement attribute of usability focuses on capturing and holding the user's attention and interest. A user fixating on a surface or a button, picking up an object, or any other means of paying attention to an element can qualify. If something important has low engagement, this can indicate that you may have to do a redesign. In usability evaluation, a heuristic is a guideline that works pretty well most of the time for identifying design problems. These are not rules, and can fail in certain situations. They can be useful for a good baseline first prototype. Gestalt principles of perception address the interpretation of arrangements and relationships of objects. The whole is greater than the sum of the parts. These can aid in designing more effective interfaces. These principles are also considered heuristics. Human-computer interaction, or HCI, is the scientific study of the interactions between people and computers. This subject is studied from a wide variety of perspectives from many diverse areas, including, among others, computer science, psychology, ergonomics, information sciences, graphic design, sociology, and robotics. Interaction design, IXD. Interaction design is the process of designing and developing digital items and interfaces to enhance their use by people. This is a process that is completed in order to prototype better UX and UI elements. Usability, as the name suggests, is a quality attribute that assesses how easy user interfaces are to use. The word usability also refers to methods for improving ease of use during the design process. This is not an easy metric to measure. You may need to do extensive research and testing to understand how usable your application is. User-centered design, UCD, is a process that places the needs of the potential users at the center of the design process so that they influence decisions taken through the course of the entire process. This can be achieved by conducting user tests while the product is being developed.